The journey to this point in my life has been long and challenging. Growing up in a modest household, I learned early on the value of perseverance and resilience. My parents worked tirelessly to provide for us, instilling in me a determination to succeed against all odds, despite the hardships. My childhood was filled with love and lessons that shaped who I am. Today, after completing my education, I entered the professional world with optimism and ambition. My career path wasn't straightforward, and I faced numerous setbacks. However, each obstacle strengthened my resolve to push forward. Along the way, I met Sheila, who became a significant part of my life. Our relationship, though filled with its own trials, taught me invaluable lessons about love, trust, and betrayal. Ending my marriage didn't solve my problems, it marked the beginning of new challenges. This realization came from life's hard experiences. Now, as I sit in this cramped airplane seat, I reflect on how wise I think I am. In reality, I'm shattered, my confidence is in ruins, my health is deteriorating, and my faith in fairness is gone. Yet, at least the view from up here is breathtaking. In another 30 minutes, we'll land at my temporary refuge from the pain of my life. Duke's Lodge. After searching the internet for 2 days, I found Duke's. It sounded like the perfect place to hide. The description even said it was a good place to hide, and I believed it because it was on the internet. Here's what I read. Duke's Lodge is on the edge of one of Canada's most remote yet picturesque lakes, with an abundance of wildlife and some of the best fishing in the Northwest Territories. It's an excellent launching point for day fishing excursions, all-day trips, and overnight stays at one of Duke's remote hideaways. For the less adventurous, nature's beauty is just a short walk from the lodge. With luck, you might see Canadian geese, black bears, beavers, and moose. Duke's has 4 furnished rooms in the lodge, and 6 fully furnished cabins. These rustic cabins are ideal for escaping civilization and modern life stresses. The cabins for 2 feature 1 bedroom with 1 double bed or 2 single beds. 2 rooms in the lodge can sleep 4 people comfortably. Duke's is also perfect for hiding from a spouse. Meal packages and long-term rentals are available upon request. Contact Duke Wayne for reservations and travel arrangements. The description sounded so good that I called immediately after reading it. Now the little float plane that left Yellowknife an hour ago is bumping over the snow-capped peaks toward that picturesque lake. In my haven for the next couple of months, I've never ridden in a float plane before, and it's a bit disconcerting. There are only 8 seats and 1 pilot, with most of the space in the back filled with boxes. I'm the only passenger. The noise from the props makes it impossible to do anything but look out the small window. I'd love to sleep and get a temporary respite from my misery, but that's out. What I should do is enjoy the view from 15,000 feet. But instead, I start reliving the events leading up to this flight. Until a month ago, I was married to one of the most beautiful women in our small Pennsylvania town, Henley. Her name is Sheila. She was born on the wealthy side of town, while I came from the working class side. My father worked in the factory her father owned. Despite our different backgrounds, we got married. I moved from one side of the tracks to the other 5 years ago. 2 years ago, we had a baby, Sarah, the most beautiful and loving child on earth. She is pure joy and my reason for living. Whenever I look at her, I thank God for blessing me. Sheila and I both worked for her father's company, Bloom Enterprises. I was an accountant, and Sheila was the customer relations assistant. Her father, Ezekiel Bloom, was the richest man in Pennsylvania, and a formidable presence. He's on his 4th wife, Jennifer, a lovely trophy wife. Like many couples, Sheila and I had our ups and downs, but we usually worked through them without major issues. 3 months ago, my world was turned upside down when I found out that Sarah is not my biological daughter. She calls me daddy, and I call her my little angel. But a DNA test showed the truth. I cursed that test. Why did I do it? I wanted to protect my little princess while waiting for her annual checkup. I read an article about how DNA tests can provide an accurate medical history for children, which seemed sensible since my sister died from a congenital heart defect. I wanted to ensure Sarah didn't inherit any genetic issues. I didn't tell Sheila about the test. There was no way to figure out who Sarah's father was because of Mr. Bloom's control over the town. I asked a college friend, a private investigator in Washington, D.C., to look into it. He discovered Sheila had been seeing another man since before we married. I had the proof to confront her, so I filed for divorce. That's when everything fell apart. Sheila denied it, and her father supported her. My out-of-town divorce attorney was outmatched by Sheila's team. Despite my evidence, the judge ruled in her favor. I had to pay child support for Sarah, lost our home, and my visitation was limited to one supervised weekend a month. I lost my job, friends, and trust in the judicial system. My depression worsened, especially because I couldn't be with Sarah. Sheila's father took away the one thing I loved most in the world. Sarah. Sheila never attended the hearings. It was just me and my attorney against Ezekiel Bloom and his team. I was left with nothing. Before I left town, the Bloom factory mysteriously burned down. I didn't do it, but I did bring the marshmallows. Now I sit in this noisy float plane, headed to a temporary refuge. When I arrived, I stood on the rickety dock and looked at the lodge. Wow, this isn't what I expected, I said. The pilot, unloading boxes, replied, yeah, a lot of people say that. When they arrive, it'll grow on you. The lake and mountains are beautiful, but the lodge isn't as grand as described. It looks like an old log cabin with a dirt path leading to the porch. I grabbed my bags and headed up the dirt path to the lodge, realizing I should have read the reviews first. Inside, a deep, gravelly voice from under the counter asked, may I help you? Yes, my name is Leo Baker, and I have a reservation for one of your cabins. Ah, Mr. Baker. I've been expecting you, said the lanky, silver-haired man as he stood up. My name is Duke Wayne, and I own this place. Yes, my name really is Duke Wayne. My parents were big fans of John Wayne. I don't swagger like him, I just limp. Your registration said you wanted a long-term stay, hiding from the wife. That's fine by me, but not if you're hiding from the law. No, just a domestic issue. I don't want to be found for a while. I reserved a cabin, and would like to negotiate a long-term rental. Great, we close for the winter in October, but you can stay until then. The cabins are up the road on the other side of the hill. It's a bit of a walk, especially with luggage. This time of year, you'll only have one neighbor. Breakfast is at 8 a.m., and we can discuss dinner arrangements then. If you need anything, check the bulletin board or ring the bell on the front porch. Here's your key to cabin number 2. It has the best view. Thanks. Is there a phone or cell service? No phone or cell service. Too remote. We have a radio for emergencies or ordering supplies. You can make a call through it. Most supplies have to be flown in and out, since there are no roads to the lake. Great. See you at breakfast. I walked up the hill with my luggage, realizing up the road was quite a distance. Duke might exaggerate, but at least there are lots of pine trees. Cabin looks rustic as advertised, but small. Inside, it's just a bedroom and bathroom, smaller than most bargain motel rooms, but it offers what I need most: privacy. Let's see if Duke exaggerated about the view. Stepping onto the small front porch, I looked out toward the lake. Actually, he understated it. I can see the entire lake, surrounded by lush greenery and sparkling water. The snow-capped mountains create a giant green bowl around the azure blue lake. It feels untouched by civilization. Unbelievable. Yes, it is, isn't it? Said a voice from the trees. I turned to see a beautiful woman approaching. She's short and thin, with dark hair and a ponytail. wearing jeans, a red flannel shirt, and oversized boots. Carrying a pail of water, her skin is the color of warm cocoa. Her eyes dark, and she has a sweet smile. She looks like someone from a tourism ad from Mexico, minus the sombrero. You must be my new neighbor. I'm Annabella Williams. I'm in cabin 1. Just through the trees. Duke told me someone would be arriving today. I've only been here a week, so if you have any questions, I might not know the answers, she said, introducing herself warmly. Hi, yes. I'm in cabin 2. My name is Leo Baker. Nice to meet you. I replied, nice to meet you, Leo. Are you staying long? Annabella asked, curious about my plans. Yes, I think I'll be here all summer. How about you? I responded, returning the question. I'm not sure yet. For a while, I guess. I just don't know, she admitted. What brings you here? I didn't see any fishing gear, so I guess fishing isn't the reason, I inquired, trying to learn more about her. I'm here to get away from things at home. It's rough back there right now. I needed to think. What about you? Annabella explained, sharing a bit of her story. Same reason. Problems at home. Needed to get away. Nice meeting you. Annabella. See you at breakfast, I said, concluding our conversation. Okay, bye. She replied, turning to leave. She looks great walking away too. I haven't thought about another woman like this since I met Sheila, I guess. I'm allowed to now that I'm almost single again. As I watched her disappear into the trees, a thought struck me. I never believed in love at first sight, though I had plenty of lust at first sight moments in college, but thinking about this woman, I felt something different. It wasn't just lust, though she is attractive. Maybe it was a sense of familiarity. Her demeanor made me feel relaxed. I hope to get to know her better. Perhaps she's what I came here to find. Breakfast was basic: eggs, sausage, toast, orange juice, and coffee. I'll survive, as long as I don't have to cook. The other 2 lodgers are clearly fishermen, wearing vests with fishing flies. I haven't seen Annabella this morning. Maybe I should ask Duke. Hey, Duke, where's the young lady near my cabin? Anna. She ate early and went to work. She sits on a bench past your cabin, watching birds, Duke replied. She doesn't want to be around people much. Something's bothering her, but she won't talk to me. Maybe you can get her to open up. I've got my own problems. I can't take on anyone else's. No room in my head, I responded, feeling overwhelmed. Well, do what you want, but if I were younger, I'd try. She's the prettiest woman here since my Louisa died, Duke added, reminiscing. Thanks, Duke, I'll consider it. For now, I'll head back to my cabin and sleep. See you at dinner, I said, needing rest. I didn't mean to sleep all day. I guess the stress took a toll. Screw my ex and her family. I hope I haven't missed dinner. Knock knock. Annabella's voice came through the screen door. Hello, Mr. Baker. Hi, just getting up. I guess the mountain air made me sleepy. How are you? I responded, shaking off sleep. I'm fine. I made soup and wondered if you'd join me. It's quiet up here, except for the bear that visits in the morning. I'd enjoy the company, Annabella said, invitingly. Bear? I asked, surprised. Oh, don't worry, he just looks for food. You'll learn. I'd enjoy some company too. Your soup sounds good. Let me clean up, and I'll come over in an hour, I replied, accepting her offer. I watched her walk away with a pail of water. She has a graceful walk, and a nice pair of jeans. Her ponytail swayed with every step. Unbelievable, she said. An hour, so 50 minutes should be fine. Yesterday I was in Henley, Pennsylvania. Today I'm in Canada with a beautiful woman, for the first time in months. Life feels good. Knock knock. Hello, neighbor, I said, arriving at her door. Mr. Baker, you're early. You should know better than to arrive early at a woman's place. I'm not ready yet. Give me a few minutes, Annabella said, teasingly. I can go away if you like. I offered. No, Just sit on the porch and enjoy the view. It's not as nice as yours, but still spectacular. Oh, and call me Leo," she replied, smiling. I sat down and admired the view, the mountains across. The lake looked close enough to touch, but were probably a day's walk away. The quiet was deafening, and the air smelled of pine and whatever. Annabella was cooking. "Okay, Leo, soup's on. I hope you like it," Annabella called out. She was dressed for dinner, while I sat in jeans and a sports shirt. Her light blue blouse and dark blue slacks looked perfect on her. She wore sandals, and her hair fell over her shoulders. She was absolutely beautiful. "Hey, Leo, wake up, here's your soup," she said, bringing me back to reality. "Oops, sorry, I was distracted by the view," I replied, embarrassed. "Flatterer, here, eat, it's not fancy, but it's edible. All I have to drink is water, is that okay?" Annabella asked, serving the meal. "Fine, soup and conversation go well with water," I said. Great for her company. It took us about an hour to eat her delicious soup and share the basics of our lives. I told her about Pennsylvania, and she talked about Texas. I mentioned being an unemployed accountant, and she said she didn't work either. I shared about Sarah, and she said she had no children. It was all superficial, but it was a start. "Leo, why are you here? You don't seem like a fisherman. This place is very remote. Are you here to get away from something?" Annabella asked, curiosity evident in her voice. "It's a long and painful story. I don't want to talk about it right now, maybe later," I replied, deflecting the question. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pry," she said, sounding apologetic. "That's okay, how about you?" I asked, turning the focus back on her. "Same thing, a long story, I'm not ready to share," Annabella responded. "You have a better view from your cabin. Maybe next time we can eat there. I'd like that. Thanks for dinner. Your soup was great. Amazing what you made with that small burner," I complimented her. "Well, I should go. Will I see you at breakfast?" she asked, preparing to leave. "Of course, have a good night, Leo," she said. As she left, I reached my cabin and watched the sunset over the mountains. The view was stunning, and the sounds of nature were soothing. Everything was better in person than on TV. This must be what heaven's like. Usually I don't let my food get cold, but sitting across from Annabella made time slow. Breakfast was basic: eggs, sausage, toast, tomato juice, and coffee, but the company made it special. I motioned for Duke, and he refilled our coffee. "I'm taking the others out on the lake. Will you two be okay here?" Duke asked. I looked at Annabella and answered, "We'll be fine. Maybe we'll take that nature walk from the website." As we walked back to our cabins, Annabella said, "Leo, that nature walk is the path from the dock to the cabins. Pretty, wasn't it?" "Maybe this place is less than I read online," I replied, smiling at her humor. "What are your plans today?" "Nothing much. I usually sit on the bench on the hill or the dock and watch the birds. When the seaplane comes, I help Duke unload supplies. He never asks, but I do what I can. He's giving me a break on rent because I can't afford much. Duke is 73 years old and has been alone since his wife died 20 years ago," Annabella explained. "Duke's quite a character. Sitting by the lake sounds good. May I join you?" I asked. "It would be my honor," she said with a mock curtsy. We walked to the lake, found old rocking chairs, and sat quietly for a long time, just rocking and looking at the view. Annabella seemed to start crying. "What's wrong?" I asked, concerned. "Nothing," she replied, lied, wiping her tears. "Now I know something's wrong. Did I say something? What can I do?" I pressed gently. "I'm sorry. I have a lot on my mind. I don't want to burden you with my problems. You're here with your own worries," she said, sounding conflicted. I thought of a preacher from my childhood who said talking about problems can help. If you want to talk, I'll listen. You can't give me more problems than I already have. Maybe I can help, I offered sincerely. That's kind of you. I want to talk, but it's complicated, personal, and embarrassing. You're a stranger. How can I share my problems with you? Annabella said, hesitating. Let's trade stories. I'll tell you something about me, then you share something about you. We can go slow. I'll be an open book if you want to listen. I won't judge you, I'll just listen. I suggested. Okay, but you go first. She agreed cautiously. Where to start? Usually the beginning is best, I said, wondering how much detail to include. Okay, here goes. I was born and raised in Henley, Pennsylvania, on the working class side of town. My dad worked at a factory, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. I have an older brother and sister who live in different parts of the country. After getting my master's degree in finance from Penn State, I returned home because my dad had a heart attack, and my mom needed help. I met and married a beautiful girl from the upper-class side of town. Her father owned the factory where my dad worked, and much more. Her name is Sheila. When I returned, I got a job as an accountant at her father's company, where Sheila worked as his assistant. 2 years ago, our daughter was born, and I loved being a father, but I found out I wasn't her biological dad. Sheila had a lover before we married, and he was Sarah's father. Our marriage fell apart when I discovered the truth. I had all the proof of her infidelity, and planned to divorce Sheila and take Sarah. I didn't care that Sarah wasn't biologically mine. I loved her and wanted to raise her, but Sheila's father made sure that didn't happen. He handled the divorce, and I ended up with nothing. No job, no home, no wife, no daughter. I have to pay child support for Sarah and can only see her 1 weekend a month. I had to get away and figure out how to start over. That's why I'm here. Did you talk to your wife after filing for divorce? No, I had a restraining order keeping me away from Sheila and Sarah. I was fired and evicted. Her father controlled everything, so I couldn't do anything. Sheila never came to any hearings. Her father and the lawyers handled everything. If they took everything, how did you get here? My mom gave me some savings to leave town. It was supposed to supplement their income for old age. My dad has a disability pension, so they'll be okay, but not as good as they planned. I'd like to pay them back, but I don't know if I can. The memories made me tense and depressed. Sensing my mood, Anna changed the subject. My story is similar. My parents came from Mexico with my older brother and sister. I was born in Plano, Texas. My father left when I was 8, and my mother cleaned houses for a rich family. My brother was killed in Iraq, and my sister now lives in San Antonio with her family. I married Logan, a salesman for a car parts manufacturer. At first, he was sweet and made me feel like a princess. I had just finished culinary school and was looking for my first job as a chef when he told me he didn't want his wife to work. He felt inadequate if I worked, so I stayed home. Over time, our marriage soured. He became demanding and abusive. I endured it for a few years until I realized I was in danger and unhappy. I decided to leave. I found Duke's website, withdrew our savings, sold my car and wedding ring, and came here. I've been gone for 2 weeks. Sometimes I fear Logan will find me. I don't know what to do, or where to go. I could stay with my sister, but Logan might find me there. I want to figure things out before I leave. All I can do is hope. Annabella. Do people call you Anna? What can I call you? I like Anna. Well, Anna, we're in the same boat, escaping bad relationships, and unsure about the future. I have some money, and if you need help to stay here and figure things out, I'm happy to assist. Just remember the offer. That's kind, but I don't want to take anything from you. You have your own problems, and you'll need your money, but thanks. Lost in thought, staring over the lake, our conversation stopped. Anna was also looking out, no longer crying. A big fish jumped near the dock, making Her smile, and Duke thinks he knows the best fishing spots, she laughed. Lightening the mood, we talked about college. Penn State excited her, and culinary school excited me, because I love eating. We shared childhood dreams. Pets and friends, we talked until the sun was overhead and the calm lake mirrored the mountains. God, I love this place. Leo, I'm going to my cabin for a nap. If you want, I'll bring soup over tonight. And we can talk more on your porch. I enjoy your company. Is that okay? She ran her fingers across my hand, making me feel pleasantly startled. I'd love that. I enjoy talking to you too. You go ahead. I watched her walk away, amazed and aroused. She walked beautifully, making me think anything was possible. I turned back to see geese flying over the lake, and soon fell asleep in the rocking chair. Knock knock. Anybody home? Anna said through the screen door. Hey, let me help put that on the table. I'll find some bowls. Sorry one can't offer you wine, but maybe we can get some on the next supply run. We each had a bowl of her delicious soup, and I even had seconds. Sitting on the porch with my feet up, I felt content. Just like a man with a full stomach, ready to sleep, she teased. Where did you learn to cook like that? It was delicious. Thank you. I enjoy cooking, and had a great teacher. He once had to eat whatever he could find, even from restaurant dumpsters, and called it heaven. Provides soup. My mother called it hobo stew. I just use whatever I have to make something enjoyable. I'm glad you liked it. We sat in silence, watching the lake. Two squirrels chased each other in front of us, providing some entertainment. I always enjoy a little after dinner show, I said, and she smiled. Leo, you said you're married. Your marriage ended when you found out about your daughter's father. What did you mean? I took a deep breath. I was married to Sheila for 5 years, never knowing she had a secret lover. I was too blind to see the clues. When I got the DNA test results, I realized she was having an affair. I couldn't believe it, but the evidence was there. I asked a college friend, Ken Hayden, a private investigator in DC, to help. He found out who Sheila's lover was, with photos and videos of them together. They had been lovers since college, I said, feeling the weight of the revelation. I'm so sorry. That must have been horrible for you. It's crazy that someone could live 2 lives and not expect to be caught. What she did to you should be punished. What a cow. Oops, sorry, Anna said, her empathy evident. Sometimes it just comes out. I do understand a little Spanish, and you're right. I've thought the same things, but I'm not sure I want revenge. I just want to get away from her and her controlling father. I'm still figuring it out, I admitted, feeling a bit of relief sharing my story. Anna took the bowls back inside. When she returned, I turned to wipe a tear from my eye, but I think she saw it. You know, Anna, talking about it makes me hurt all over again. I really loved Sheila, and can't understand how she could betray me. You can understand the pain when someone you loved isn't who you thought they were. I saw in her eyes that she knew the pain I described. I put my hand on hers, and she began to speak. Leo, I feel comfortable talking to you. We've only known each other for a short time, but I want to be open with you, like you've been with me. Some of what I'm about to tell you is very personal, and hard for me to say. Please be patient with me. Just talk, don't worry about me. I won't interrupt. I'll be patient, and don't say anything that will hurt you, okay? Here it goes. My marriage started out beautifully, but turned into a nightmare. The first signs of trouble were subtle. I loved my husband, Logan, and wanted to please him. Our sex life was great at first, but a few months after we married, he wanted to experiment. One weekend, he became rough during sex, leaving marks and causing pain. It escalated over the next few weeks to spanking, slapping, and using toys. That hurt. The more I protested, the more it excited him. One time, when I was sick, he forced me to have sex, tied me to the bed, and struck me until I passed out. When I woke up, I was in pain, and he was passed out drunk, I later realized. He was drinking, and hiding it. Another time, he came home drunk. And slapped me because dinner wasn't ready. He punched me so badly that I couldn't walk. He apologized the next day, saying it was the booze, and promised to stop. I believed him, and didn't tell anyone. He stopped drinking for a while, and things were normal. Then he found a digital camera, and made me pose undressed. When I resisted, he threatened to strike me, and to share the pictures if I didn't comply. I obeyed out of fear. One day, he came home drunk, demanded I strip and strike him with the camera. When I refused, a neighbor knocked. But Logan told them I had fallen. He threatened me with a knife if I ever told anyone. I was terrified, and did whatever he wanted. I felt trapped, and didn't know what to do. Jesus H. Christ, I thought. My life was bad, but this poor girl has been tortured by a lunatic. I was so mad, I started shaking. I wanted to hold her, and tell her everything would be all right, but I didn't know her well enough to do that. I just stayed silent, and shook all over. Leo, are you all right? Please say something. I looked into her eyes, and said, my God. That's awful. I can't imagine what you felt. I'm so sorry. She got up, put her hand on mine, and held it to her cheek. She smiled, and my tension eased. Thank you. You don't know how much that means. We held hands for a long time. I should take the soup back to my cabin, she said, placing my hand on the armrest. I'll see you at breakfast. After she left, I thought about her and her brutal husband. I eventually went to bed, but it took a long time to fall asleep, with new awful images in my head. Finally, I drifted into a fitful sleep. Duke poured the coffee, and observed, looks like somebody had a rough night. He's right, I thought. When I looked in the mirror, I saw bloodshot eyes, and drooping shoulders. Got any aspirin? I'll find some, Duke replied. I took a big gulp of coffee, and looked around. The two other lodgers were finishing breakfast, and I nodded to them. Anna was nowhere to be seen. Duke returned with aspirin, and set it next to my coffee. This high mountain air will get to you, Duke said. Take it easy for a couple of days. Why don't you go out on the lake today? I'll get you a boat, and you can see what kind of fisherman you are. Good morning, Duke, Anna said, kissing his cheek, and making him blush. Isn't it a beautiful morning? Your friend looks like he had a rough night. Duke filled Anna's coffee cup. She looked at me, and said, good God, you look terrible. What happened? Thin mountain air got him, Duke replied. He'll be fine in a couple of days. He walked back to the kitchen. Are you going to be all right? Anna asked, concerned. Yeah, once the room stops pulsing. Duke suggested a day on the lake. I might take him up on it. Haven't been fishing since I was a kid, I answered, trying to reassure her. Maybe you shouldn't go alone. I don't know anything about fishing, but I can keep you company, she offered. That might be nice. Got any sunblock? I asked. I'll check with Duke, she said. We ate Duke's usual breakfast of eggs, bacon, toast, orange juice, and coffee, with a side of aspirin for me. You seem happy this morning. Did the old preacher's advice work? I asked, curious about her mood. Confession is good for the soul. Maybe it did. I feel more relaxed. Maybe there is something to telling a friend your troubles. You are my friend, right? I did dump a lot on you yesterday, Anna responded, thoughtfully. Nah, it's okay. I can handle it, and yes, I'm your friend, I assured her. As we left the lodge, Duke called after us. I'll put one of the boats in the water. Take it out whenever you want. Thanks, Duke, I replied. Anna took my hand, and we walked back to our cabins around 11 o'clock. I met Anna at the dock. She wore a white long-sleeve shirt, blue jeans, tennis shoes, and a white baseball cap. Her hair was in a ponytail. She looked beautiful, especially with the big smile on her face. I haven't had many beautiful women smile at me lately, I said, feeling a bit bashful. I found some sunblock. Duke has a supply cabinet with everything. How are you feeling now? She asked, handing me the sunblock. Better, the headache is bearable. A day on the lake with you is just what I need, I replied. She smiled. With you, it took a few minutes to get the motor started. We puttered around, and finally stopped in a spot where we could see all sides of the lake. The lodge looked tiny from there. Duke had prepared everything for us. The poles were ready, and there was a little box with bait. Well, let's at least look like we know what we're doing, I said. I put a dough ball on one of the hooks, handed the rod to Anna, and she dropped the line over the side. I left the spoon on the other pole, and put the line in the water. She watched, and caught what I did. Now what do I do? She asked, holding the rod tentatively. Just wait, and be patient, I said. We sat like that for a few minutes. Anna then said, Leo, I didn't think about what I was doing yesterday when I told you my story. I didn't tell you everything. And I think I added my problems to yours. I'm sorry, we don't have to talk about it anymore if it hurts you, but I feel better for having told you, and to be truthful, Anna, I did dream about what you told me. I thought about how brutalized you were. I look at you now, and can't imagine someone wanting to hurt you. You're so delicate and beautiful. That's monstrous, I said, feeling a surge of protective anger. Did you just call me beautiful? She asked, a bit surprised. Yes, you are beautiful. Any man in his right mind would see that, and what I see inside you is also beautiful, and quite fragile, I said sincerely. Thank you. I haven't been called beautiful in a long time. There are a lot of stupid people in this world. Thank you for not being one of them, Anna said, looking touched. Anna's rod jerked suddenly. What was that? She asked, startled. That's a nibble. Hold on to the rod, but not too tightly. Wait and see what happens, I instructed. We sat quietly, staring at her rod. Eventually nothing happened. Relax, he's gone, I said. Anna looked from the rod to me. Can I tell you something? Sure, anything, I replied. You make me feel like a princess, she said softly. You are a princess, I said, smiling at her. She smiled. Thank you. We relaxed, taking in the view. Our eyes met, and she smiled her wonderful smile at me. I smiled back, thinking the view just got a whole lot better. She scooted over, put her hand on mine, and rested her head on my shoulder. We sat like that for a long time, just looking out over the lake. Then Anna's rod jerked downward again. Hey, our friend's back, I said, handing her the rod. The tip jerked violently. Hold on, I think we're going to have a visitor. Pull up on the rod, and reel it in. The rod bent and shook as she tried to reel it in. I don't know what to do. Help me, Leo, she pleaded. Just hold on tight, and put the back end in your hip. Start reeling slowly, I instructed. She did as I said. The rod was bucking, but she managed to reel in the line. Finally, a big splash broke the water a few feet away. Holy crap, she exclaimed. Keep reeling, I'll get the net, I said. I dipped the net into the water, and pulled out a huge lake trout. Look what you caught. He's a beauty, I said, holding up the fish for her to see. Anna stared, wide-eyed. I know what we're having for dinner tonight. You called your soup heaven provides. Well, heaven just provided dinner. I put the fish in the cooler. Wait till Duke sees this, he'll keel over. Anna, still in shock, suddenly jumped up, and threw her arms around my neck, rocking the boat. Whoa, sit down, we don't want to go swimming yet, I said gently. She let go, and sat down, looking sheepish. Sorry, it's just that I've never caught a fish before. Let's see if he has any relatives down there, I suggested. I put fresh bait on the hook, and dropped it over the side, sitting down beside her. I put my arm around her shoulder. She gave me the biggest smile, and put her head on my shoulder, wrapping her arms around my chest. Thank you, she said softly. For what? I asked, for making me feel happy again. Thank you. She held onto my chest for a long time. Everything was quiet and peaceful on the lake. I could almost hear her heartbeat. I kissed the top of her head and rested my cheek on her hair. Both of us felt at peace for the first time in a long while. Holy Mother of God, where did you get that? Duke bellowed when I pulled the fish out of the cooler. I've been looking for him for years. Well, the little lady snagged him, I said, grinning. I had no idea what I was doing. Leo just coached me. After he was hooked, Anna added modestly, did I do okay? Little lady. That's a record trout for this lake. I'll bet he weighs 40 pounds. Or more. We've got to get the camera before we fillet him. You two are going on the bulletin board. We all walked up to the lodge, smiling and talking about the catch. Duke grabbed his camera and took pictures of Anna with her prize. We looked at each picture and smiled. Yes, sir, you two are eating fine tonight. I'll get him ready. Be here at 6 for dinner. My treat, Duke announced. Anna and I walked back to our cabins, holding hands, our troubles forgotten for the moment. The lake trout had eased our minds. When we reached my cabin, I turned Anna around and put my hands around her waist. We stood there with the mountains in the background. I pulled her close and kissed her gently. Leo, I can't, she said, pulling back, shaking. I'm sorry. I can't. Hey, calm down. What's wrong? I asked, lifting her chin to look into her eyes. I'm sorry. Your touch brought back awful memories of Logan. He hurt me a lot more than I realized. I know you wouldn't, but it's just, shush, I understand. I shouldn't have pushed you, I said gently. It's not you, it's me. When you kissed me, it triggered memories of Logan's misuse. I'm so sorry, she explained, her voice trembling. That's okay. I'm here when you're ready. I won't hurt you. You know that. I reassured her. I know. Please just hold me, she pleaded. We stood embracing until her shaking subsided. After a while, she felt calm, and her breathing slowed against my chest. She seemed so frail and delicate in my arms. I would hold her forever if necessary. A bird chirped nearby, breaking the silence. We turned to look, but it was gone. When we turned back, her beautiful dark eyes smiled at me. Then her lips matched the smile. Thank you, she said. Anna moved closer and gently kissed me. It was almost not a touch, so gentle. She pulled back, smiling wider. Time seemed to stand still. She kissed me again. This time more purposefully. We kissed tenderly. When we separated, we smiled and looked into each other's eyes. There's nothing like a first kiss, I said. Nothing will ever be more tender or full of expectation. Except the second kiss, she said, smiling, and we kissed again, longer and deeper. Tap tap tap. Hello, anyone home? I asked playfully. Hello yourself. Come on in, I'm almost ready. Anna called from the bathroom. I walked into the cabin and watched her finish her makeup. You were beautiful, I said admiringly. She wore a pretty yellow print top and a black skirt with sandals. Her hair was in a side ponytail. She held out her hands. Now I'm beautiful. Let's go eat. I'm starved. Not just yet. Not until I've messed up some of that makeup, I teased, leaning to kiss her, but she pulled away. No, not now, later, first we eat, she said, grabbing my hand and leading me out of the cabin and down the hill. As we walked to the lodge, Anna said, you look nice. Who thought to bring a blazer to a fishing lodge? She kissed my hand before intertwining her fingers with mine. Right this way to your table, Duke said, bowing. As we entered the dining room, your meal awaits. I pulled out her chair, and she sat. Duke draped a white napkin over her lap and mine. He went to the kitchen, leaving us alone. Anna broke the silence. I love Duke. He's such a gentleman, I bet. He was quite a ladies' man when he was younger. His wife must have been so happy. Duke returned with 2 plates of trout and vegetables. My wife was the reason I lived. After I met her, I never looked at another woman again, she was my first in. Only love, we were together for 30 glorious years, her ashes are. Up on the hill behind your cabins, he set the plates down. Bon appetit, he said, and left us to enjoy our meal, and each other. The meal went by quickly. At the end, Duke brought out a pear half drizzled with chocolate sauce. Just leave everything here when you're done. I'll take care of it tomorrow. Good night, you too. After dessert, we sat holding hands, looking into each other's eyes. Anna said, "This has been a perfect day, thank you for sharing it with me. It's not over yet, we can stay up and see if there's an aurora tonight. How about some stargazing?" I suggested. "Sounds perfect," she agreed. "In the mountains, away from city lights, the stars are breathtaking. We could see the spiral arms of the Milky Way. No aurora tonight, but the stars were spectacular." We sat in front of my cabin, holding hands, listening to the occasional hoot of an owl and chirping crickets. Suddenly, there was a loud crack from the bushes. I think we've got a visitor," I said. "Maybe we should head inside." "Good idea, I don't want to end a perfect day by becoming a bear's dinner," Anna said. With a nervous laugh, we quietly got up and went into the cabin, shutting the door. "So what do we do now?" I asked, curious. "I can think of something," she said, eyeing the bed. I took her in my arms and kissed her deeply. We made love, then lay panting beside each other. I turned to look at her and saw tears on her cheeks. "Anna, what's wrong? Are you okay?" I asked, concerned. She turned to me, tears streaming. "Oh, Leo, everything is right. I haven't felt like this in a long time. I felt loved. You loved me the whole time. It was perfect," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "Phew, I thought I was losing my touch," I joked, trying to lighten the mood, smiling. She playfully slapped my back. "No, you haven't lost your touch. I love your touch. Just hold me," she said. We embraced, nuzzling each other until we fell asleep. Morning arrived with a gentle rain. The pitter-patter on the roof echoed softly. We lay in a warm embrace, listening to each other's heartbeat. "Good morning," she said softly. "Good morning, beautiful," I replied. "Do you want to skip breakfast and stay in bed all day?" she suggested. With a smile, "Sounds good to me, as long as you're here too," I said, holding her closer. "Bet on it, just let me brush my teeth, and I'll be back to keep you warm and safe." I got up and went to the bathroom, while Anna watched. When I returned, I said, "Your turn." She got up and closed the door. I lay there, thinking of her, feeling aroused. She returned, laughing at the protruding bedding, and jumped under the covers with me. We hugged quietly, listening to the rain. "Leo, don't take this wrong, but I've got something to tell you. I think I love you. I know it's crazy because we've only known each other a few days, but I feel so comfortable and safe with you. Wow. Maybe it is crazy, but I feel the same. I want to focus on you, and not the mess I left behind." "Anna, I could feel that way about you too, but I can't think about loving you until I figure out my problems. I don't want to hurt you. I care about your happiness, and right now, that's all that matters to me. Stop thinking, and hold me." Anna and I stayed in bed all day, talking and loving. We made love 2 more times, gently and lovingly. We forgot to leave the cabin to eat the next day. The rain stopped, but everything was still wet and muddy as we headed to breakfast. "Missed you yesterday. What did you do? Stay in bed and listen to the rain?" Duke said with a knowing smile. "Yeah, something like that," I admitted with a smile at Anna. "Today's Tuesday, and the supply plane is due around noon. No new guests are scheduled, so you two will be the only ones here when the others leave. If you want anything special, leave me a note, and I'll send it out. The plane comes on Tuesdays and Fridays, so plan ahead." "Can we get anything?" Anna asked. "Anything from a grocery store, liquor store, or hardware store," Other stuff might take longer, but you can order anytime," she smiled. And took a bite of toast. The same float plane that brought me arrived, filled with supplies. We helped Duke unload everything, while the fishermen packed their luggage. Duke later sat with us, explaining how he's run the lodge for 20 years, dealing with isolated winters, and planning everything in advance. The loneliness since his wife passed was the hardest part. We spent the day talking about the mountains, the lake, fishing, hunting, and winter challenges. We didn't discuss why Anna and I were there. After dinner, Anna insisted on making a stew. "I like that gal," Duke said. "But there's something sad about her. She seems happier since you arrived. I hope you two hit it off. She deserves happiness." "Duke, I like her a lot too. I've got my own troubles, but I'll take it slow. I won't hurt her, I promise." Anna brought out a steaming pot of vegetables and fish. "I call this my heaven provides stew. Duke, I hope you like it." We ate in silence, except for the occasional slurp. Later that night, Anna knocked on my door. "Can I come in?" she whispered. "I was thinking about you too. Can we combine everything and be together in one cabin?" Duke knows, and seems okay with it. "Of course, you shouldn't go back tonight, in case that bear is lurking. I just found you. I don't want to lose you." She snuggled next to me, pressing her body into mine, and wrapping her arms around my neck. "Leo, if you don't want to answer this, I understand, but you told me about your wife having a lover. How could you stay with her after finding out?" "I don't know. I avoided her. Every time I saw her, I thought about what I saw in the video. I just wanted to be with Sarah. To be with Sarah, I had to stay with that conniving woman. I avoided her, did extra projects, and took Sarah to the park. All I thought about was finding an attorney and getting out. When I filed for divorce, everything exploded. Her father got involved, and my problems worsened. I've already told you most of it, but the worst part is too disgusting to talk about. After I found out, I threw up. Even now, thinking about it makes me sick. That was the deal breaker. I knew I had to get as far away from her and her family as I could. Then don't talk about it or think about it. Come here and hold me, and let's not think about her anymore. I'll help make it better." We lay there in silence, holding each other. I lifted my head and looked into her dark eyes. "Thank you for being here," I said, kissing her tenderly. It reminded me there are good people in this world, and she was one of them. Our lips parted, and I rested my head back on her shoulder. "Leo," she whispered, "there's more to my story that I couldn't tell you the other day. I think I'm ready now, because it might help me overcome some more demons, like your preacher said. Confession is good for the soul, believe it or not. It's worse than what I've already told you. Can you stand to hear it? Anything for you. Afterward I may want to eliminate somebody, but I'll listen to whatever you need to say." Well, this happened after what I told you before. Logan threatened me with a knife, and said I had to do whatever he wanted. One day, he came home high, and told me to dress up, because he had a surprise. I changed into one of my nicest dresses, and found Logan talking to a woman named Faye. His boss. She was tall, strong-looking, and had a gravelly voice. Logan had shown her the unclothed pictures he took of me, and she wanted to meet me. He told me to entertain her, to make her happy, or I would be punished. Faye told me to strip, and dance to music. Terrified, I did as she asked. When I was done, she started touching and kissing me. I cried, and Logan got mad, dragging me to the bedroom, and telling Faye I was hers. She did terrible things to me, while Logan watched, smiling. After she left, Logan forced himself on me, and told me his plans. Faye wanted to come over again, and in return, she gave Logan a valuable account at work. Logan showed my pictures to his friends, and said I would entertain them too, for money. He planned to pimp me out to his coworkers and customers. When I heard that, I knew I had to leave, so the next day, I ran away. She went silent, staring off into the distance, her face contorted. And tears filled her eyes. Oh God, I can't go on. Her whole body shook. As she broke down in sobs, I took her in my arms and held her tightly. Everything's all right now, you're safe here. With me, I'll take care of you, I'll love you, I whispered to her. She continued crying, her tears soaking my shoulder, her sobbing slowed. And she eventually fell asleep in my arms. When I woke up, I said, "Morning, did you say you loved me last night?" She asked. Yes, I did. What you told me was horrible, and you didn't deserve any of it. I'll make sure you never suffer like that again. I think I've fallen in love with you, I confessed. God, I'm so happy. Thank you, Leo. My prayers have been answered. I love you too, but I really need to pee, and then we need breakfast, she said, moving toward the bathroom. I smiled. At breakfast, I said, Duke, you should have a full-time cook here to give you more time for other tasks. Can't afford one. Louisa used to cook, and I did everything else. She was a great cook. Me, I make do. Duke replied. Anna's a great cook, maybe she could work for you to help pay rent. Is that okay, Anna? I suggested. Of course, I'd love to help, if that's okay with you, Duke, Anna said eagerly. I'll think about it. I have 8 people arriving on the next plane. We'll see how it goes, Duke said, thoughtfully. After breakfast, I asked Duke, how do I make a phone call? I need to let someone know where I am. All I've got is the radio. Yellowknife can patch you through to an operator. It's a bit expensive, he explained. Can I use it after breakfast? I asked. Sure, I'll show you how, Duke replied. Anna said, I'll head back to the cabin to clean up. If we're getting visitors, I want to look my best. She smiled and left. Duke showed me the process for making a call through the radio. It was complicated, and I had to use a credit card. Duke let me use his card to avoid leaving a trace on mine. I'll pay you back. Put it on my bill, I told him. Duke left me alone to talk. Hello, came the voice from the radio. Hi, Mom, it's Leo, I said. Oh my God, Leo, how are you? Where are you? My mom asked, sounding worried. I'm fine, Mom, I'm out of the country, and can't say where. If someone asks, you can't lie. What's happening there? I inquired. They're looking for you, Leo. Mr. Bloom is furious after the factory burned down. He blamed you. There's a warrant for your arrest, and the FBI talked to us. We didn't know where you were, so we couldn't tell them anything. I think someone's watching the house, she explained. What did you do with the package I gave you? I asked, urgently. I put it in the basement behind some jars of canned peaches. I didn't open it, she replied. What about Sarah? I asked. Sheila came by with Sarah. She said she wanted to talk to you. Sarah's fine, but she misses you, my mom answered. I don't want to talk to Sheila. I just care about Sarah, I said firmly. Leo, I know your divorce will be final soon, but could you talk to Sheila? Was it really that bad? Is there any way to work things out for Sarah's sake? My mom pleaded. Mom, Sheila was having an affair the entire time we were married. There's more, but I don't want to hurt Sarah. Maybe someday, but not now, I said, trying to stay calm. Okay, I'll trust you, she said, her voice softening. Mom, I've met someone here. Her name is Anna. She's also running from a bad situation. I want you and Dad to meet her, but I can't come home. I'll figure something out. I'm not as depressed as before. I'm actually happy with Anna, I shared. Oh, Leo, I'm so happy for you. You deserve to be happy. Call and let us know your plans. I love you, son, she said, sounding relieved. I love you too, Mom. Bye. Oh crap, what am I going to do now? The FBI is looking for me. I didn't do anything. But Bloom has the police saying I torched his factory. What about Sarah? And now there's Anna. I can't do anything that would hurt her. She has her own problems. How can I get away from Sheila's father? Be with Anna, and have a future free from the past. What a mess. I muttered to myself, feeling overwhelmed. The next day, the float plane arrived, dropping off men with expensive luggage and fishing gear. Duke greeted them warmly. Welcome back, gentlemen, it's good to see you again. This makes your 9th year, right? Everything's the same, except the fishing's better. We helped carry the luggage to the lodge. That afternoon, the men took boats out to fish. Duke had Anna help him in the kitchen with dinner. She prepared the fish they caught, and steamed vegetables, while Duke handled the salads and bread. Under her direction, for dessert, Anna made a pear cranberry crisp. The new lodgers were thrilled with dinner, and asked to meet the chef. Anna shyly went into the dining room. I watched from another table. One man spoke up. Madam, we want to compliment you on dinner. Everything was delightful. I own a string of restaurants, and none of my chefs could match what we just ate. If you ever want to leave here and work for me, you have a standing invitation. Thank you very much. I'll keep your offer in mind. I'll see what surprises I can whip up for breakfast. Anna then came to my table, smiling. The praise had boosted her spirits. The restaurant owner walked over to us. Sir, you should be proud of your wife. She's a magnificent cook. I'm serious about my offer, I said. Yes, I am proud of her, but we're not married. We met here, refugees from bad situations back home. Duke clarified. I'm sorry to hear that. Where you from? Anna asked. I'm from Plano, Texas, she said. I'm from Henley, Pennsylvania, I added. Another man chimed in. I know some people in Henley. What's your name? Leo Baker, I replied. Nope, don't recognize the name. Where did you work? The man asked. Until recently, I worked at Bloom Enterprises as an accountant, I said. Now that name I know. Bloom cheated me out of $1 million contract. It set my business back quite a bit, he responded. Yeah, I was married to his daughter, I admitted. The man came over to our table. No crap, you're Ezekiel Bloom's son-in-law? I was. I got divorced recently. I'm not sorry to be out of that family. What happened? The restaurant owner asked, intrigued. In short, my wife cheated on me. I filed for divorce, and Bloom made sure I came away with nothing. No money, no job, no daughter. I came here to get away, and that's where I met Anna, I summarized. Another man joined us. Did I hear someone mention Bloom Enterprises? Yes, I used to work there, I confirmed. That name is familiar. I work for the Justice Department in the racketeering section. We're investigating Bloom for violations of several laws. I'd love to talk to you in more detail, he said. Wow, I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised. Bloom owns everything in town, including the judge in my divorce hearings. Just before I left, one of his factories burned down, and I'm the main suspect. There's a warrant for my arrest, and I'm sure he had something to do with it, I explained, feeling the weight of the situation. A fourth man interrupted. I heard your story, and wanted to chime in. I'm a lawyer. How do you know Bloom owns this judge? I had a video of my wife with her lover. The judge rejected it and threatened to jail me if I showed it to anyone, I revealed. That sounds like a judge I know in Henley. He screwed me and my clients too. You need help getting unscrewed. Maybe we can talk and see what's possible. I'd like to help, the lawyer offered. The manufacturing man added, absolutely, I'll do anything to give Bloom a taste of his own medicine. A fifth man stood up and approached us. Looks like we need some military-style coordination here. I haven't seen action since Afghanistan, and I'd love to help take down a big shot. No offense, Mr. Baker. None taken, I said. Let's head to the porch, have a couple of drinks, and talk this over. With all the brains here, we can come up with something spectacular. What do you say? Anna chimed in. This is where I make my exit. Thank you, everyone. Leo, I'll see you back at the cabin. Wake me when you get back, and tell me your plans for world domination. Gentlemen, good night, and thank you from the heart. I watched Duke walk Anna back to our cabin. He thanked her for making the group happy, and asked her to help with breakfast. After they were out of sight, we started discussing possibilities. When I got back to the cabin, Anna was asleep, looking peaceful. I didn't want to wake her and bring back her troubles, so I quietly slipped into bed and spooned her. It was another perfect day. That night, the aurora borealis lit up the sky, but we were asleep in each other's arms. The next morning, after breakfast, Anna and I sat on the dock. Anna, before I tell you about last night's discussion, I have a question. What do you want to do about your husband? I can't see any alternative but divorce. I don't want you going back and getting hurt. What are you thinking? I've thought about divorce, but he would come after me. He's very possessive. I thought about staying hidden and hoping he moves on. Why? What do you have in mind? Yesterday, we talked about my problems. I told them I wanted justice, not revenge. These men have influence and money. One is a CEO of a huge computer company. The lawyer, Alan, knows my friend Ken, the private investigator, the retired colonel, and the Army Special Forces will coordinate everything. We just have to sit tight here until they're ready. That sounds wonderful. Do you think they could help me? Yes. Alan knows a divorce lawyer in Dallas who's a shark. Everything should be ready by the time we get back. You just need one meeting to sign papers, and the Army Major will handle getting Logan to sign. Everything's going to be okay. Why would a bunch of strangers help me? I'm just a cook in a remote lodge? There are good people in this world. They see something in you that maybe you don't see in yourself, something I already knew. Anna smiled. We sat on the dock, holding hands, thinking about the future. 5 days later, we helped the fishermen load up the floatplane. I thanked each man, and Anna kissed each one on the cheek. Even the shy computer geek, the restaurant owner, gave Anna his business card, reminding her of his job offer. Please call, he said, after they left. Duke wandered back to the lodge, and Anna and I took a boat out onto the lake to fish and talk. Anna asked, when will this all happen? I don't want to leave Duke without a cook. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks. If all goes as planned, you should be heading back here within a few days. We can arrange for you to visit your mother and sister, if you want. Okay, I just want it over with so we can be together. Will you come back here afterward? Absolutely. Once I clean up the mess from my old life, I plan on starting a new one with you. Anna scooted over, put her head on my shoulder, and we sat there, enjoying each other's touch. 3 weeks later, Anna and I sat on our cabin porch at sundown, discussing the trip home the next day. We were both tense about what was to come. Despite careful planning, Murphy's Law could still strike. I had hope, though. Leo, hold me. I'm so scared. If I wasn't here in your arms, I might be back there, tied to a bed, and being used by everyone. I'm terrified he'll find me. Shush, that's not going to happen. You're safe now, and always will be. I'll protect you. We sat holding each other, watching the sunset behind the mountains. I stroked her cheek. As a tear rolled down, her gentle breathing showed she was more relaxed. Anna, since you shared your whole story, I need to tell you about my final demon. This is as hard for me as it was for you. When I found out my daughter wasn't mine, I was furious. I wanted to eliminate Sheila and her lover. If they had been there, I might have. I went looking for Sheila, and found her with her lover. It was her father, Ezekiel Bloom. They've been lovers since before we were married. The photos and video I had confirmed it. Sarah is his daughter. If anyone knew, it could hurt her immensely. I'll do anything to protect her. Oh my God, Leo, that's unbelievable. How could she? I'm speechless. I want to strangle her for hurting you. I feel so sorry for your daughter. When I saw them together, I thought divorcing her would solve everything. Instead, it made things worse. I ran here to escape, and found you. Now I know we have a future. Once we close the door on our past, we'll be together, if you want me. Oh, Leo, of course I want you. You make me feel like a princess. The next few months may be difficult, but we'll be together forever. That sounds wonderful. We might not get a chance to be together for a while after tonight. I want to make love with you one more time before we go. I love you so much. We kissed in the fading light and walked into the cabin. We made love, and afterward, she looked into my eyes and kissed me. God, that was fantastic. She relaxed and fell onto my chest, and we fell asleep. Duke, Anna will be back in a week at most. I'll be gone longer. I know the lake will freeze, and flying in will be impossible, but I'll try to get back before then. Keep an eye on my little chef. Don't worry about me. I've been here 20 years before you came, and will be here 20 more after you leave. I'll take care of your little darling. You two be careful, and have a safe journey. Anna kissed Duke on the cheek, then stepped into the plane. I shook his hand, and followed her in. The pilot entered, closed, and locked the door. I saw Duke waving goodbye, as we took off. As we flew, I thought about what lay ahead. In Dallas, we went to see Anna's attorney. I pictured a fierce lawyer, but Jane Oakes, a little gray-haired woman, surprised me. Good afternoon, I'm Jane Oakes, she said, sitting behind her mahogany desk, and smiling at Anna. Don't let my appearance fool you. It works to my advantage. Once the opposition meets me, they wish they hadn't. Anna, I've heard everything from Alan, but I want to hear it from you. For the next half hour, Anna retold her story. Jane listened intently. It's worse than I thought, but don't worry. We'll put an end to it. You'll get your divorce, and everything you want. I'm confident. Let's get the papers signed, and I'll explain what happens next. When Anna signed everything, and we were driving to her sister's house, she broke down crying. I wasn't sure if it was from sorrow or joy. Her tears lasted until we were on the interstate. She wiped her eyes, blew her nose, and placed her hand on mine. I keep saying thank you, don't I? I can't wait until it's all over, she said, looking out the window at the passing countryside, at her sister's house. Anna seemed reborn. She laughed, and played with her nieces and nephews, and ran around with their big dog. Watching her transform into a new woman made me love her even more. Later, her mother arrived, and the three women had a private talk, while the men stayed in the backyard with beers. When they returned, everyone looked teary-eyed. Anna and her sister went to make dinner, and her mother took me aside. Mr. Baker, Anna told us what her husband did, and about you. She said you have your own troubles to fix before you can be together. She also said she loves you, and feels safe with you. If you ever hurt her like her ex did, I will hunt you down, and eliminate you. But if you treat her well, you'll get my layer cake every Christmas. Take care of my little girl. She deserves the best. Shocked, I could only say, yes, ma'am. She kissed my forehead, smiled, and led me back to my chair. Each day, we stayed at her sister's house, and each night at a new nearby motel. Anna was wrong. We did have time to make love, while waiting for the call from her attorney. Quite a few times. 5 days later, Anna got the call she had been waiting for. Hi, Anna, this is Jane. Everything's done. Your husband signed the papers. As soon as the court processes them, it will be final in 2 months. Until then, you're still married, but can do whatever you want, except remarry. Your husband was convinced to sign by someone from the army. I don't know who your friends are, but I might want to borrow them sometime. Take care, and have a nice life. Anna's abusive marriage was over. We celebrated with ice cream, and everyone had a great time. At the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, we held each other and said our goodbyes. I'll call Duke, and leave a message when I get to my parents' house. I'll call again with good news. Take care. I love you. I love you too, she cried. We parted, our fingertips The last to touch, I drove 2 hours from Harrisburg Airport to Henley. Timing my arrival for dusk, I parked around the block from my parents' house, and walked through the woods. I knocked on the back door. "Who's out?" "Back." Knocking on that door? My dad's voice called out, "It's me, Dad." "Leo." "Damn, Mom, it's Leo, come on in before someone sees you." "Dad, it's good to be home." "Hi, Mom, we need to talk about." "What's going to happen?" "Let's sit in the living room. I just want to put my feet up and relax." I spent the evening explaining everything to my parents. If all went as planned, it would be over within a week. They laughed at the audacity of the scheme. And what would happen to those involved? We had a good time. And I felt ready for what was to come. I called and left a message for Duke and Anna, letting them know I was safe. And everything was okay. Early in the morning, I heard the newspaper land in the driveway. I walked out in my shorts and robe to pick it up, stretching big as day. "Well, that should let everybody know that Leo's home," I whispered. Within 30 minutes, 3 police cars showed up. "Knock knock knock, Leo Baker, I have a warrant for your arrest. Please come out quietly," I heard when I opened the door. I winked at my mom and dad, and walked out. Handcuffs aren't as painful as I thought. Sure, I had to ride to the station with my hands behind my back, but it didn't hurt much. I was photographed, fingerprinted, and put in a cell by myself. All I had to do was wait. Within an hour, Mr. Bloom came roaring into the station, demanding to see me. I could hear his voice from my cell. Soon he was in front of me, glaring with steely gray eyes. "Boy, I'm going to burn you up. You have the balls to burn down my factory and come back like nothing happened. I'll make sure you never see the light of day again. Say goodbye to your little girl. She'll forget you ever existed." I watched his face redden, thinking, God, I love watching that big vein on his head pulse. I didn't get to say anything before a frantic-looking deputy called him back to the office. I sat back down and listened to the yelling and screaming. Finally, someone shouted, "Go get him, now." The same wide-eyed deputy came back, unlocked my cell, and told me to follow him. In the office, Alan, the lawyer I met at Duke's, stood glaring at Mr. Bloom, who now looked redder than before. "Mr. Baker, are you okay? Have they treated you well?" Alan asked. "I'm okay, just a little confused why I'm here," I replied. "We're about to clear that up," Alan said, reassuringly. Alan made a call and said, "We're ready now." In a minute, a tall man in a suit walked in with 2 state police officers. He approached Mr. Bloom with a manila envelope. "Mr. Ezekiel Bloom?" the man in the suit asked. "Yes, what do you want?" Bloom responded, sounding annoyed. "Sir, I have a warrant for your arrest for tampering with government officials, racketeering, and money laundering. I also have a cease and desist order for Bloom Enterprises until a federal grand jury convenes. Here's a lawsuit from Leo Baker for wrongful termination. And there's another warrant for your arrest on the charge of incest with Sheila Baker, your daughter. A warrant is being served on her now," the man announced, handing Bloom the documents. He turned to the deputy sheriff and handed him an envelope. "Sir, this is a lawsuit against the town of Henley for wrongful imprisonment." I had to sit down to hide my smile. The officer handed me an envelope and said, "Mr. Baker, here's a court order quashing all charges against you until the fire marshal's report is reviewed. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, there will be a hearing to review your divorce decree with a new judge, as the previous one is under investigation." Alan never took his eyes off Mr. Bloom, who now looked particularly glum. "Leo, let's go, you're a free man," Alan said loudly. We walked out the front door, and Alan smiled as he drove me to my parents' house. When we stopped, he turned to me and shook my hand. "Good luck, Leo, I'll see you at the hearing. This is a little present from your fishing buddies." I think things will be quieter around here for you. I love small towns. Good night, Alan said warmly. He nodded and drove away. My parents met me at the curb. How'd it go, son? My dad asked. Better than I could have imagined. Let's go eat. I'm starved, I replied, feeling relieved and hungry. The divorce review hearing was different. Sheila showed up with only one attorney. The new judge looked very concerned, with Alan by my side. I felt hopeful. The review took almost 4 hours. This time, the evidence of Sheila's infidelity and incest was allowed, and the judge declared her an unfit mother. He overturned the child support, granted me primary physical custody, and I was now to receive child support. The house remained hers, and the income split stayed the same. I still left broke, but I had Sarah. During the hearing, Sheila remained silent, staring at her hands. Her lawyer spoke for her when needed, but she stayed quiet and looked awful. After the hearing, I asked to speak to Sheila alone. I began, Sheila, this isn't about revenge. I just wanted to divorce, and to get as far away from you as possible. You and your father hurt me more than you can imagine. When he tried to railroad me, I got mad. Everything that happened is your fault. He always got what he wanted, but not this time. He tried to keep me from Sarah, which nearly destroyed me. I survived with the help of a woman who has a heart and a moral compass. Things you lack. I love her. I don't want you near Sarah ever again. I'll get a restraining order if necessary, I promise to come and piss on your grave. Do you understand? Sheila nodded. Without looking up, I left the hearing room, happier than I've been in a long time. Thinking of Anna and Sarah, that night, I burned the DNA test results in my parents' backyard. The only person I ever told about Sarah's real father was Anna. 2 months ago, I landed on this same little lake in the floatplane. Now I had Sarah with me, and she enjoyed the ride. As we docked, I saw Anna looking as beautiful as ever. I carried Sarah off the plane, and Anna's smile was as wide as the lake. She gave me a welcome home kiss. While Sarah made happy noises, I was glad to be back. Anna then told me, Leo, I've got bad news. Duke had a stroke. He lost the use of his right hand, and now walks like John Wayne. He'll be fine in time, but he needs help running this place. I said I'd stay. What do you think? I felt like I was coming home, not just because of Anna, but also because of this place. I'll stay with you forever. We'll take care of Duke and our little girl together. I missed you, and I love you. Welcome home, she said. I love you. It's been 5 years since I first came to Duke's lodge. Anna and I married the spring after our first winter here. Sarah loves it, especially playing with Duke, her old teddy bear. We gave Sarah 2 little brothers, twins named Duke and Wayne. They're now 3. And getting into everything. Anna is a great mother, and I'm thankful every day for finding each other. Anna is pregnant with our 3rd child, a girl, due in 3 months. We're considering naming her Louisa. The lodge has expanded with a larger main house, new cabins, stone walkways, and more boats. The dock is wider, and there are native artworks everywhere. Duke supervised the upgrades, funded by the lawsuit settlements against Bloom and Henley. Anna enjoys her new gourmet kitchen, courtesy of an anonymous restaurant owner. We have satellite communication and solar power, thanks to some generous benefactors. The lodge is now packed year-round, with a waiting list for popular dates, matching the website's promises. When my parents visited after the twins were born, they told me Sheila has become a recluse and no longer associates with her father, who is still on probation for racketeering. I couldn't care less about them. Duke passed away a year ago, leaving everything to Anna and me. We buried his ashes with Louisa's by the park bench on the hill, and visit them often. We miss the old buzzard, but his spirit lives on in the lodge.